Welcome to this course, Problems and Solutions in Accounting Basics. Before introducing this course, let me make it clear who should take this course. This course is only for students who have a thorough basic knowledge of accounting concepts, theories, but who wants to practice many case studies and problems. Okay, so in this course, no theory part is covered. There will be no separate lectures for theory. Only problems and case studies are picked up and discussed. How this course will benefit you? As said, this course will have numerous problems, case studies and past examination problems picked up from various professional course examinations. Okay, so you will get your hands-on control on case studies, problems on accounting. What are the topics that are proposed to be covered? As of now, following 5 topics are proposed to be covered: accounting concepts, capital and revenue items, journal entries, ledger, trial balance. But you can watch for even more some additions in this course in the later stages. So once again, I welcome you to this course. In this session, we'll take some multiple choice questions to understand the basic concepts. According to money measurement concept, currency transactions and events are recorded in the books of accounts. Option A, in the ruling currency of the country in which transaction takes place. Option B, in the ruling currency of the country in which books of accounts are prepared. Option C, in the currency set by Ministry of Finance. Option D, in the currency set by government. See, whenever a company prepares its books of accounts, those transactions should be recorded in the ruling currency of the country in which those books of accounts are prepared. Okay, let's say a company in India. For India, the ruling currency is INR, Indian rupees. Okay, so this company in India may have various foreign transactions. They'll have various forex transactions also. They may have transactions in USD, they may have transactions in JPY, whatever, but everything got to be converted into Indian rupees for the reason that here books of accounts are prepared in India, okay, and the ruling currency where books of accounts are prepared is INR. So the answer is currency transactions and events should be recorded in the books of accounts in the ruling currency of the country in which books of accounts are prepared. Okay, right. Question 2. The determination of expenses for an accounting period is based on the concept of option A, objectivity, B, materiality, C, matching, D, periodicity. Just look at a P&L statement, profit and loss statement. We'll be recording various incomes and we'll also record expenses so that we can find out whether there is any profit or there is loss. So the determination of profit or loss is based on booking expenses related to this income. So how do you determine expenses that are related to income? Which expenses and all should be included here? Because it is possible that you would have paid for some expenses in advance, you would have paid for some expenses exactly for the period, or some expenses still may be outstanding, not yet paid, but you have incurred. So which expenses and all you have to book? That's where the matching concept comes into picture. Matching concept says if you are recognizing an income, then expenses incurred for that income should be recognized. Okay, so you have generated some income, and in that period if you have incurred some expenses, that got to be recorded. You have generated some income, you have incurred some expenses, but you have not yet paid for it, still that got to be recorded. You have not incurred some, you have incurred some expenses, that is you have paid for that expenses, but you have not realized its income, then those expenses need not be accounted. Okay, so matching concept says when you are recognizing an income, its matching expenses have to be accounted so that you can determine what is the correct profit or true and fair profit or loss. Okay, so the determination of expenses for an accounting period is based on the concept of matching. Answer C. Third question. Decrease in the amount of creditors will result in, you have four choices: increase in cash, decrease in cash, increase in asset, no change in asset. Look at this balance sheet. You have creditors. Let's say creditors is 100. That creditors is coming down to, let's say, 80. So if creditors is coming down from 100 to 80, how it is possible? Only when you pay them. So what will happen to your cash? Your cash will also come down to the extent of this difference. That is, your cash will also get reduced by 20. So the decrease in creditors is 20 and decrease in cash balance will also be 20. So we'll say decrease in amount of creditors would result in decrease in cash. Answer is C. Item 4. Ram purchased a car 10,000, paid 3,000 as cash, and balance amount will be paid in 3 equal installments. Due to this, you have 4 options. First, let's understand. We'll record this in balance sheet. Ram is purchasing a car and paid cash of 3,000. It means originally Ram had cash of 3,000, but now that cash is used for purchasing what? For purchasing a car. How this car was purchased? By using cash of 3,000. And what is the value of this car? It is 10,000. So 3,000 was paid in cash and the balance will be paid in 3 equal installments. It means remaining 7,000 is a loan. So there is a car to the value of 10,000. But this loan is a liability. Okay, so this got to be recognized here. We'll say loan 7,000. So now look at the impact. Liability increased by 7,000. Okay, earlier asset was only cash 3,000, but that got reduced. But on the other side, car value increased. So the asset also increased by 7,000. Correct? Because earlier it was 3,000, now it had become 10,000. So there is an increase of 7,000. Now we'll see. Option A. Total asset increases by 10,000. Option B. Total liability increased by 3,000. Option C. Asset will increase by 7,000 with corresponding increase in liability by 7,000. So here asset increased by 7,000, liability also increased by 7,000. So we can say answer is option C. Okay. Next, question 5. Accounting does not record non-financial transactions because of option A. Entity concept, B. Accrual concept, C. Cost concept, D. Money measurement concept. What is the objective of preparing accounts? The very objective of preparing accounts is to know whether the business is making profit or suffering loss, and to know the financial position of business at any point of time. Okay, so all these are expressed in terms of money. All these are expressed in terms of money, and because of this reason, accounting will recognize only transactions which are expressed in money or in money terms, and it will not record non-financial transactions because of money measurement concept. Next set of questions. Provision for bad debts is made as per entity concept, conservatism concept, cost concept, going concern concept. What do we mean by provision for bad debts? First of all, in balance sheet we are having certain debtors at some value, but based on experience or by understanding the customer's position, we understand that out of these debtors, some debtors may fail. Okay, and this failure may not happen immediately. I mean, as on balance sheet date, this failure has not materialized, but for all likeliness it will happen next year and we may have to forego this debtor. It means that will be recognized as loss. So let us not give that shock to the customers, not the customers, the readers of the financial statements in the next year. Why? Because already we know, we have some idea that there are possibilities that certain customers will fail. Okay, so accounting concept says, especially the conservatism concept and prudence concept and all, it says if you are anticipating a loss, recognize for it immediately. Don't wait for that loss to happen. If you are anticipating, recognize it. And if it is not happening, then you can reverse it later. But if you're anticipating a loss, recognize it. Okay, so provision for bad debts is also something where you are anticipating a loss and you don't want to account for it only when it happens, because already you know that it is likely to happen. So you want to be very conservative when you prepare your financial statement. That is, you don't want to carry the debtors at inflated numbers, because for all likelihood this value will come down because of failure of some customers, which eventually we will write off as bad debts. Okay, so let us not give that shock to the readers of the financial statement when that event happens. So now itself will give them an indication, will reduce the profit now itself by creating provision for bad debts, and that is done as per conservatism concept. So the answer is B. Next, item 7. Fixed assets and current assets are categorized as per concept of separate entity, going concern, consistency, time period. First of all, we should understand what are fixed assets, what are current assets. Fixed assets are those assets which are purchased with an intention to use in the business. There is no idea to sell. There is no idea to sell. It does not mean fixed assets are something which are going to be fixed and erected in one place. The intention is more important. It is purchased with an intention to use in the business and there is no idea to sell. It means they are going to help you in generating revenue or reducing cost, or it is going to help you for a longer period of time. And when we say longer period of time, it is greater than 12 months. So those are called as fixed assets. Whereas current assets are those which can be converted into cash within a period of 12 months. Okay, say for example your inventory, which you can sell and convert as cash within a period of 12 months. Your debtors, already you have sold, you can convert that as cash into within a period of 12 months. Okay, so fixed assets are something which are going to be with you, which are going to help you in running business for a period more than 12 months. It is going to give you benefit. It is going to give you future benefit for a period more than 12 months. Whereas current assets are something which you can convert into cash within a period of 12 months. So 12 months greater than up to 12 months. So the focus is on time period, right? So we can say fixed assets and current assets are categorized as per concept of time period, right? Next, omission of paise and showing the round figures in financial statements is based on what concept? Is it conservatism concept, consistency concept, materiality concept, or realization concept? See, let's say the payment made is 12,50,250.26 paise. Okay, this is a substantial figure. Okay, and this is very small amount, and it is not going to have any impact or a significant impact on the readers of financial statement. Any amount which is going to influence the decision making of the readers of the financial statement, we will call that as material amount, whereas this decimal will not influence. Why? Because this is not material in nature, it is not big, this is not material in nature. Okay, so going by this, we can say omission of paise and showing the round figures in financial statements is based on materiality concept. Next, item 9. Income tax of the sole trader, not sale trader, sole trader paid is shown debited to P&L account, debited to trading account, debited to his capital account, and none. See, income tax of whom? Sole proprietor is his personal expense. Okay, and that will reduce his capital only. This will reduce his capital. So capital will come down because The profits are used by him for paying income tax. Okay, so we can say it will be debited to his capital account. When capital account is reducing, it will be debited. Right? Next, item 10. Payment of salary is recorded by which entry? Debit salary, credit cash, debit cash, credit salary, debit employee account, credit cash, debit employee account, credit salary account. See, salary, first of all, identify it is a nominal account. Salary is an expense. Debit all expenses. So salary account should be debited. And what is going out? Cash is going out. Cash comes in a real account. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Cash is going out, so we'll credit to cash account. So salary account is debited, cash account is credited, and we have that here. Debit salary, credit cash account.
Next 5 set of questions. Purchase of furniture for cash would. Some choices are given. First let's understand. When you purchase a furniture, think from balance sheet angle. When you purchase a furniture is coming in, and what is going out? Cash is going out. So furniture balance will increase, cash balance will decrease. And what is the nature of furniture? Is it current asset or fixed asset? It is fixed asset, provided you have intention to use it for a longer period. What is the nature of cash? It's basically a current asset. So fixed asset is increasing and current asset is decreasing. Let's see whether we have that. Purchase of furniture for cash would result in increase of fixed asset, yes, and reduce current assets, yes. So I think this is the right choice. Let's see the other one also. Reduce fixed asset and increase current assets, no. Increase total assets, no. It does not increase total asset because there is an increase in fixed asset and decrease in current asset. And both A and B, no. This is also no. So the right answer is item A. Increase fixed asset and reduce current assets. Item 12. Narrations are given at the end of final accounts, trial balance, each ledger account, each journal entry. See, basically in journal entries only we give narrations. Let's say for example we say rent account debit to rent outstanding account. So here let's say the rent for a particular month is unpaid, we'll say being rent for March outstanding. It is not yet paid, it is outstanding, sorry for that, outstanding, correct. So narrations are basically given for each journal entry. Next question. Which of the following is an example of personal account? Machinery, rent, cash, creditor. Machinery is an asset, real. Rent is an expense or it can be an income, okay, so nominal. Cash is an asset, again it's real. Creditor is a person, okay, so creditor is an example for personal account. Next, P&L account is prepared for a period of 1 year by following which concept? Consistency concept, conservatism concept, accounting period concept, cost concept. It is basically accounting period concept because for every accounting period, that is starting from 1st April ending with 31st March, we are interested in knowing whether the business is making profit or it is suffering loss, okay. So for that only this P&L account is prepared, and it is prepared following accounting period concept. Next, current liability. What are current liability? See, very simple. Current liabilities are those liabilities which have to be paid within a period of 12 months. Okay, so the liabilities which you have to settle within a period of 12 months is called as current liability. So here you have liabilities which are payable within 12 months, that is current liability. And liabilities which are payable immediately, no. Liabilities which are payable after one accounting year, they are long-term liabilities. Liabilities which are, let's say, redeemable, not readable, redeemable within 3 months. Okay, that is part of current liability, but the broader definition is current liabilities are those liabilities which are payable within a period of 12 months. So the right answer is A.